Hello everyone, Christina Werner here. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. Today is day 4 of Color Month 2024. So we're going to jump right in and get into the card making. So I have already picked out a color palette for tonight, and I wanted to show you exactly how I got to that particular color palette, because there's a few different ways that you can use the Sarah Renae Clark color catalog and color cubes. So this is the color catalog. This is the PDF. I just have it on my phone, right? I'm going to tip my phone a little bit so it's not like completely glaring. But this is volume 1. And I wanted to create a card that had, had like some spring like colors, really bright colors. I want to do a happy birthday card today. So I thought maybe like spring bright would kind of be a fun way to do it. So I came down and I'm going to browse by, well, first I did browse by keywords. I was looking for spring and I couldn't quite find anything. And then, I'm going to browse by collections. And they actually have, she has them like grouped. And this one is 25 color palettes inspired by the Pantone spring color trends. So I thought, you know what, that sounds like that's right on my alley. So then I tapped on that. And that's when I found, let's see, which one was it? This one right up here, this first one, 187. So then I tapped through that and I thought, oh, okay, yeah, that's exactly kind of the vibe I'm going for, right? So I used the color catalog. Now you can just leave this like open on your like surface, like whatever you want. You don't have to actually have a color cube to use it, but I have a color cube. So then I brought in the color cube card. Ta-da! Lovely. Why is Shirley says the picture is dark? What does that mean? I'm seeing everything nice and beautiful. Those of you who are watching live, can you let me know if the picture's okay? And Shirley, if it's dark, maybe refresh the page, refresh your browser, and see if the video comes through okay. I'm not seeing anyone else saying that the picture's dark, but just wanted to, let's see, hold on. Sika says looks great. Okay. And then someone else is saying, oh, people in Europe are saying, we want a live that is not at 1 a.m. time. I'm so sorry. This is the time that works best for my schedule, and I don't want to keep moving it around all the time. I'm not sure. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. So here are the colors that I've chosen for today. And I went through kind of like my ink stash, kind of looking for some colors that looks pretty close to my color palette here. And this is what I came up with. Pretty close, right? So these are 5 colors from Concord and Ninth. I've chosen Oceanside, Parsley, Fig, Wildberry, and Aqua Sky. And my plan for tonight is to create a card using the Joseph's Coat technique. Do you guys know what that is? I mean, it's an older technique. It's been around for a long, long, long time. In fact, I think it even goes back to like long before we were stamping and making cards and stuff. But this is kind of like my plan for the card tonight. I'm going to be using this stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. This is a stamp set that I did for Simon that came out a little while ago. And I thought I wanted to do this big happy birthday stamp and have like stripes of color kind of behind the words. I wanted the stripes to be the words. Yeah, so that's why I thought I would do Joseph's Coat technique. So of course we're going to have the cat on the bottom. So I thought I'd have the cute kitty right there, and then it's going to have happy birthday. And this area right here, I'm going to do some watercolor stripes of color. I'll heat emboss it with and then I'll stamp the words, and then I'll heat emboss it with clear embossing powder. And then add black over top. It's kind of a little bit hard to describe, but once we get going here, you'll get the idea. And it's actually a really fun technique. And most people use it for backgrounds, but I'm going to be using it for a grading today. So we'll see how that goes. I've never done it quite like this before. So I'm going to put that aside, and also the stamps, and I'm going to get out some watercolor paper. Using Fabriano Artistico Extra White watercolor paper. In fact, I'm going to need 2 sheets of it. One for the kind of greeting background. This feels like 2 sheets. This is 2 sheets. It is 2 sheets. One for the greeting with the background, and then another one for the cat. Yay! So many of you in the comments are saying you've loved your color cubes. They're so fun, aren't they? They're a lot of fun. All right. So first, I'm going to do my watercolor stripes. So I'm going to tape my watercolor paper down to a board just to help it from, warping too much. Okay, so I'm going to be watercoloring my stripes onto my watercolor paper. The Joseph's coat technique works with any kind of color you want to put down. So you could ink blend the color, you could do direct to paper, like kind of like an ink smushing thing with your ink pad directly onto the paper. You could even stamp a background, like anything. It works for anything, and it's so fun. Joan's asking, question, are the color cubes good for us card makers that have trouble with putting colors together? Also, should I get both sets of color cards? Joan, that's exactly what it's for. It's giving you color inspiration. So you can just flip through the cubes or the catalog and you can see different combos. Like if you just see something you like, that's great. Or you could even pick one at random and challenge yourself. But that's exactly what it's for. And I've currently only really been digging into the volume 1 color cube, but I plan to kind of switch over to volume 2 probably for the second half of the month. But there are so many combinations that you could get by with just one, but you do save a little bit of money if you order both at the same time. So it just really depends on how much you want to invest into the whole system. If you want to like get one, try it out, and then go back and buy the second one, I think that's still a very valid and smart way to purchase it. So, totally up to you. But I think it's really great, and it's specifically for, kind of giving you some color inspiration. All right. Hello, I cannot get this tape. Okay, there we go. All right. So I want the words to be where all the color is. So I'm actually, let's see, how do I want to do this? I want it to be on an A2 card. So I think I'm just going to do it right up here. And I'm just going to like make a little pencil mark right there and a pencil mark right there. I just need to make sure that the colors are in that area. Does that make sense? All right. I'm going to grab a slick surface to use as a palette. Just got this piece of like plastic here. This is actually one of the palettes that Art Impressions sells. And I'm going to smush my ink pads down onto this. So we've got Oceanside, Parsley, and I re-inked these so they'd be nice and juicy. And we've got Fig. And then Wild Berry. I love Wild Berry. I have not used it enough. It just came out not long ago. Aqua Sky. Okay, so those are the colors we're working with today. I've got a little cup of water over here and a paper towel that's ready to go. And I'm going to paint my stripes kind of going across. And I think I'm just going to keep it in the same order that they're in right here. I mean, why not? I'm using a size 10 brush. And you know what? I'm not going to let each color dry in between. So if they mix a little bit on the paper, all the better. I'm just going to do some stripes. Oh, I love fig. It's such a pretty color. Just let those colors kind of soften and mix right where they meet. All right, coming in with wild berry. We'll actually get a little bit of a, we might get a little bit of a purple shade right where wild berry and aqua sky meet. Oh, that kind of turned because my brush wasn't completely clean. Hold on. I'm gonna get myself some new aqua sky ink right there. Make sure I clean off my brush really well. There we go. That's better. And then just come in here, and it's a really pale blue in comparison to that pink, that wild berry, but I'll just kind of go over those where they meet so they sort of blend. In fact, you know, I think I feel like I need to add a little more of the ocean side into it just to get a little bit more of the actual blue that I'm going for the color palette. Okay, just to make sure I've got good coverage, I'm just gonna paint up there at the top. This will all be covered in black, doesn't even matter, but I just want to make sure that I have plenty of space to work with. Okay. So now I'm going to, well, first I'm going to clean this off while that dries, but we're not going to need all these colors again. Maybe when I paint the elements for the cat, but for the most part, we're all good. Nancy, I re-inked my ink cubes right before because I knew they were getting dry. So they're particularly juicy right now. But you know who's always really good about re-inking their ink pads? Jennifer McGuire. Hers are always super inky. She's really good at doing all the maintenance on her supplies. All right, I'm going to use the heat tool just to kind of speed along the drying process. You could definitely let this just dry, air dry though. Okay, nice and dry. I'm going to remove it from the board. Now I'm going to stamp my greeting and clear emboss it. So the idea behind this next step is that we are trapping the color underneath that clear embossing ink, or heat embossing powder, I should say. All right, so I'm going to just put that in my Misty Stamp Positioning tool. I'm going to take my greeting stamp. Hey Donna, this is perfect. It's a birthday card. And I'm going to place my stamp right over the top. Oh, that's going to be so cute with all that color. Placing my stamp right over the top. transfer that to the drawer of my Misty. And I'm going to make sure that's down in the corner really well, because I think I'm going to stamp this a couple of times to make sure I get a really good impression. I'm using my anti-static powder tool just to add some powder over that area. Probably didn't need to do that. Watercolor paper is generally really dry. And now I'm going to take Versamark ink. You could also use any clear heat embossing ink or anything for embossing. This is just the one that I've got. So I'm going to ink that up with Versamark. Hey, Carissa. And I'll stamp this down. Get a really good impression on that. And I'm going to stamp it a second time just to make sure I've got really good coverage of that ink. All right, I'm going to keep my stamp in my Misty just in case I need to use it. Like if I look at the surface of my heat embossing and it just doesn't look right, you know, in case I need to restamp, which I think I might do anyway because I want the grading to be really glossy. You know what I'm saying? All right. Putting a bunch of that on, kind of give it a good little tap, a little shake. All right, like I can see there's some like little breaks in it. I want it to be completely solid. So I'm going to heat set this, stamp it again, and then do the heat embossing layer again. And this heating goes until it melts. There we go, and you can see it melt. All right, so now I'm getting that down to that corner again really well. And I'm going to stamp with the Versamark a second time. Making sure that's still down that corner. Stamp right over the top. All right. And I'll add more embossing powder. Now that I can see it a little bit better, I know exactly where to put the powder. It shook off quite a bit more, but maybe it'll kind of melt and smooth out. We'll see. Okay, I think that's quite a bit more glossy. There are a couple spots that look like there's a little more, like there's more pits to them, but you know what? That's okay. We might just get a little bit of texture. All right. So now I'm going to take my colorful piece here. Close up my embossing powder because that could have been dangerous. And we will add black over the top. And you're like, what? No, it's going to be great, I promise. Okay, so there are a couple ways you can do this. You can take black ink and just ink blend right over the top. I thought it might be a little bit easier to do black watercolor over the top. Now it might reactivate the color underneath, but I'm okay with that. We're gonna go with whatever happens today. So where I've put the clear embossing powder, it will protect the color underneath. So it will preserve all of that color and the black watercolor won't be able to seep underneath. That is the whole idea. I'm just getting my paper all page down. And it's a little warped from the embossing. So this will actually, you know, let it get wet, and then as it dries, it will flatten out again. So that'll actually help us get a more flat finished card. All right. So back to my little palette here, and I wanted like a super, super black. So I picked out Tim Holtz Distress Ink in Black Soot, and I'm just going to be picking it up with a brush. This is the re-inker. So I'm going to get really, really strong color right from the start. I won't even have to dilute it very much. Okay, getting my paintbrush ready. Just making sure that's nice and fluid. And this is scary, but it's going to be okay, I promise. You can see how it starts to resist any of that ink or paint that I'm putting on top. So I was thinking like, oh, I really want to do like a striped cardstock greeting for this, but I don't have this as a die cut. I only have it as, you know, a stamp. So that made me think, okay, how can I get those striped words? How can I isolate them? So that's what made me think of the Joseph's Coat technique. I'm so glad this Black Soot is working out so well. Okay, this is going to give us a nice dark inky background to work with. Love it. Okay, so then you can take a paper towel. I have like black ink on me. That's what I get for painting so fast though, right? Okay, getting that cleaned up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to come in just with the edge of a paper towel and try to, all I'm doing is smearing it around. I really should just wait till it's dry. I think I might wait till it's a little more dry. But essentially what you can do is just like buff that color off of the clear embossing. Now I don't want to speed up the drying process on this because it will re-melt that embossing powder. So I'm just going to have to set this aside. And while we're doing that, we can paint our cat and other elements for the card. Okay, so we need to stamp. Put this aside for a moment. So I thought it'd be really fun to have the cat. I know I am wearing a white top. Like, how did I save it? I'm gonna do the cat. And then I thought painting some other little elements to go on the cat would be really cute, like these glasses and a party hat, because it's birthday, right? A little party hat. I'm trying to decide if I want to do the bow. No, I don't want to do. I'm just going to do the party hat. Actually, I don't want the party hat. I don't want the party hat. I just want the bow. Okay. So the bow, the sunglasses, and the cat. All right, this time when I stamp, I'm going to stamp in waterproof black ink so that I can paint over the top and it won't smudge or smear or bleed. Stamp that down. Beth, why not have spaghetti dinner while you're at it? I know, right? It's like I'm tempting fate. I'm just going to stamp this twice so I have really solid black lines. Lovely. Clean off those stamps really quick. I have a prepared stamp chamois today. You know why? Because I ran out of baby wipes. And baby wipes have been my go-to because I never think about getting my stamp chamois ready before I'm live. Okay. Peel up that kitty stamp. Okay. I'm gonna remove this. And I can use that black when I add stripes onto my gray cat because we all know I'm doing a gray cat, right? I'm just gonna put the stamps back in their little storage pocket. All right, and I'm gonna grab a new cup of water since I did use a ton of those colors and also black. I'm gonna grab a new cup of water because my ink, my water is not very clean. So I'm gonna dump this out and get new water. Okay. So we have new water here. And I'm going to use a couple different colors of Concord and Ninth inks that I haven't used. I'm using Dove and Mushroom. I'm not going to clear emboss it. No, I'm just going to paint within the lines. It should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to start with Dove. This is one that I did not re-ink, but it's still going pretty good. I've also got Mushroom. I'm going to be using Mushroom just to add some shading onto the cat. And I'll grab a paintbrush. I'm going to use a size 6. You know what? Before I do this, I'm just going to hit this with my heat tool just to make sure that ink is completely dry. This is the Hello There Animals stamp set that I'm using today from Simon Says Stamp. Oh, if you look in the video description, I did put links to the stamp set and the dies I'm going to be using. If they're not there, you probably hopped into the video right as I was starting, so you might have to refresh. Okay, now we can get to the painting. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. I'm doing really, really simple painting today. I'm going to start with that light gray, that Dove, and just bring that in on our little kitty, mostly around the outer edges, and then when it gets to the center of the cat's face, I'm going to add a little water. It's hard to see how much shading I have on that with how bright my lights are, but believe me, it's there. Okay. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that darker gray. I'm just going to add that to the outer edge of the kitty just to get a little bit of shading. Come in with a wet brush and just soften all of that dark gray. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of Wildberry. It's that red that I was using before. I've just got a little bit of it on my palette here. And I'm going to dilute that quite a bit with a lot of water so it's more of a pale pink. And then I can come in and just add a little blush on a cat. I mean, I know cats don't blush like this, but this is a cartoon. Y'all, use that suspension of disbelief, right? Before I paint the ears, I'm going to hit this with the heat tool just to stop the colors from really moving around. All right, and then I'm going to take more of that very diluted pink and just put the pink in the kitty's ears. And then I'm going to add some black stripes on the cat's forehead. So he looks like, or she looks like my cat. So I'm just going to use some of this black soot ink that I already have on my palette. I'm just getting it kind of a good consistency. And I'll just do one stripe right there. And then I'll just add 2 more just on the sides. Ta-da! There's my cute little kitty. All right, I'm thinking I want the sunglasses to be, I might not even have the bow. I might just want the sunglasses. So I'm going to use Fig. And I'll just paint the outer area of the sunglasses, like the frame. And then I can do the interior with that black. In fact, it might be kind of fun to do like a stripe on these glasses. Could be really, really cute. I'm gonna heat set this till it's dry. All right, I'm gonna grab an even smaller brush and I'm gonna do polka dots because why not? I'm using the same exact color of ink. Oh, I might have to add, maybe I'll do a little bit of Oceanside, just to kind of mix that in so it deepens the color a little bit. Oh, that's perfect. I'll show you guys. So I just put the Oceanside and then the Fig, and where they're together, it's deepening to a dark purple. So that I can use that darker purple to add some polka dots on the glasses. So I'm just adding, like, you know, as if the polka dot pattern extended past the one area. It almost looks like I'm doing like a striped pattern. Hello, Beth. Welcome. Glad you could catch a live. Okay. That one spot right there looks more blue than purple. I don't know what happened there. That's okay. All right. And then I'll come in with, well, first I'm going to dry it and then I'm going to come in with black to make it look like sunglasses. Although I do really like the cat's, seeing the cat's eyes. So maybe I'll cut it out so it looks like glasses. Gotta think about that. kitty's eyes really are so super cute. In fact, you know, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so first I'm going to, because I'm not going to do the, well, do I want to do the bow? I think the bow would cover up too much. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and paint the bow just in case I want to use it. I'm going to use a little bit of that wild berry. And I'll just paint the bow. I'll heat set this, then I'll do some stripes on it. I'm gonna go back to my really itty bitty brush, and I'll pick up just some of that fig ink. In fact, I might put a little more on my palette. There we go. All right, and then I'm just going to do some little pinstripes. And I'm also going to do a little bit of that color, kind of like where there would be some shading. So we'll just add a little bit of that color at the center of the bow. And then use kind of a damp brush to kind of pull that color out. Okay, almost looks like a little corduroy bow. Should have done that before I did the pinstripes. I've got to fix the pinstripes now. There we go. That fixed it. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way, and also my cup of water, so that I'm not accidentally making the sleeves of my shirt creatively colored. Let's clean off that palette. Kind of cleaning off my paintbrushes as well. Then I can bring my brushes back over and they can just dry on the side as we keep working. Okay, so I think I do want the glasses to be glasses, not sunglasses. So I'm gonna have to do some creative X-Acto knife cutting to get the centers out. So bear with me as I do all of this, because I think it will be worth it. I probably could have like done a mask or something, but okay, that hardly went through at all. All right, are we getting through it all? We are. Okay, look, it's starting to go through. The watercolor paper is very thick, so I just have to be patient. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. I'm planning to use a black marker to paint the inside edges of the glasses. So if it's not cut out perfectly, it's okay. Okay. Ta-da! This also means that I need to, what's the word? Cut out the glasses without the dies because I don't want a white edge to be there. I'm just kind of coloring the inside edge. Of the glasses just to make sure that they're trying to not color the glasses themselves, even though I kind of went out of the line right there. Oh, right there too, seriously. Slow down, Christina. Maybe I'll do it from this side. It's a little safer. Oh, but then I can't see where I need to have it. Okay. Grab my scissors. You guys don't need to see this so up close, so I'm going to back out. Got like a little frayed edge. There we go. All right. I'm just cutting the glasses. You know what? I'm going to cut this center first and then meet up. Just because I want a little extra to hold on to while I'm cutting that really delicate center area. Woo, those are thin. Okay, not bad. Oh, that's so dang cute. Worth it. So worth it. Okay, and then I think I was going to use the dies, but I think I'm committed now. I'm going to be just doing it like this. I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to get a perfect cut line right across the bottom. And that'll be the bottom of the card. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose the little whiskers, but that's okay. Speaking of cats, I can hear Sophie downstairs. Sophie! Maybe she'll come up and sing the song of her people for all of you on the interwebs. Aw, cute kitty. All right, and then she needs this sassy little bow. Sophie. She hasn't come upstairs yet. I chose to not use the dies for this because the dies would have a white outline on them. And I want it to be like very right. Oh, stop it. It's too cute. I want it to be like very right on top. Like these images, they'd have a white outline on them otherwise. Also, the dies for the glasses don't cut out the centers so that they can be sunglasses. All right, I'm going to use some liquid glue. And I guess I need to determine, do I need to do the glasses first and then the bow? Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. Glasses first and then the bow. The paper that I used is watercolor paper. So it is, gosh, what is it? 140 pound. All right, I'm just putting black marker on the edges of the glasses. Hey, Soph. She's up here now. I don't know if she's going to come sing for y'all, though. Sophie, come here. I think she was downstairs eating, and now she's in the grooming phase. Those of you with cats, you notice it's like a pattern. They eat, and then they groom, and then they sleep. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to put this on. Like, that's going to work. No. Okay. Oh, don't put it away yet. I need to do that to the bow. Normally I do this with a brush tip marker and it's a little bit easier, but this is just the black marker I had within reach. Exactly, Andrea. Sophie doesn't do anything on command. Actually, she's pretty good. Like, if you call her or want her to go somewhere, she's usually pretty good. People are saying put acetate on the glasses. Nah, I don't think I want to go to the extra step to do it. Adding glue. All right, I'm going to put a block on top of that while I get the bow ready. Okay, I didn't need glue over all of that, but that's okay. All right. While that is kind of drying, while all that glue is drying, if I can get it to move. Here's our Joseph's coat thing. Okay, you can see a little bit of the pink coming through right there. So I'm tempted to just add a little bit of black over the top, but I could probably do that with just some black soot, like the ink pad and a foam tool. So I think I'm going to do that. Other than my black soot ink pad's missing. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's also not completely dry, which is not good for us because we want to get moving. All right, I'm going to try heat setting this just a little bit at a time. Can you see how it's still wet? I'm going to try heat setting a little bit at a time so it doesn't have time to melt the embossing powder, but it still dries the watercolor paper. Kind of just keep it moving. And I can definitely dry it down here. Well, is that wet or is that, ooh, it's just ink. It's just very, very wet. That's all it is. All right, so let's see, like it's just gonna pull the ink up. That's fine. All right, so as I do this, it made it darker, but I think if I come in with just a damp paper towel, not sopping wet, I think it'll bring the brightness back. So I just spritzed it just a little with just a little bit of water. There we go. That's bringing a lot of the brightness back. Sort of. It's still a little dark, isn't it? Oh, and I also need to get that ink moving around because that's very inky. Look at that. It's just putting black all over the top again. This is what I wish I had my baby wipes. All right, let's try this again. Wet Q-tip. Yeah, maybe. There we go. Let's bring in some of that brightness back. I wish it would bring back even more though. The thing is, I don't want to reactivate the black soot. I should have done a black, well, I still need it to come off the heat embossing powder though, right? Like a black pigment ink probably would have worked. Let's try this. When I add moisture to it, I can see the brightness come back. But I don't want the brightness, because like you see how it's some of that green's peeking through now? Maybe you just have to be a very gentle swiping. Okay, that worked. Just like a little bit of moisture to kind of get it moving and then buff off. Not bad. Reheat the embossing powder and add another layer. I think wet Q-tips probably your best bet. So I'm gonna go grab a Q-tip. I do not keep them in my craft room. So I've got to steal one from the bathroom. Daphne! Isn't it funny how you could tell which animal is making noises? Okay. I kind of wish the black was around that area again now. Dang it. All right, well, here we go, the black soot. We'll just dab that on top. because we're going to clean it off with a Q-tip anyway, right? Okay. All right. Wet Q-tip. Okay, the areas that I got before, they're not getting much brighter because I think I guess I am getting quite a bit. It actually is picking it up. It's cleaning up really easily, actually. There we go. Right on top of that green. Should have just done a Q-tip from the start. It's funny how this looks like white down here, but it actually wasn't. It was like the really, really pale blue. I might need more than one Q-tip. Nah, I can get it all in one. I am getting black all over my hand though. Nothing on my sleeve, but on my hand. Am I really going to have to get a new Q-tip for one letter? I'm going to have to get a Q-tip for one letter. And all of you are saying that you keep Q-tips in your craft room at all times for things like this, so I might as well just grab a few. And I'll just keep them in my desk. Hey, Tef. Hi. It's like she knows I'm working on a cat card. Okay. New Q-tip. Just cleaning up those areas a little bit. Okay, I think I got that. We're good now. Next thing you know, she'll want glasses, probably. She's demanding in every other way. Okay, so let's get the rest of this card going. Worried about this black ink like transferring onto other things. Like, yeah, it's still transferring a little bit. I think it just needs to dry more. Maybe I'm gonna hit with my heat tool and just try not to get other areas. you guys see a little bit of that smoke? That tells me it is done. Okay, let's test this. Okay, I don't think that's transferring anymore, so that's good. Okay, so our cute little kitty is going to go right down here. So I need to determine where I want my card cut, because I sort of want that to be right at the bottom. So I'm going to grab my A2 frames, my A2 layers, and I'm going to try to figure out which one's going to cut it out perfectly. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Okay. And I just have to make sure that I clean off the die after I cut it, because it will more than likely have a little bit of that black soot ink on it. Okay, I'm going to try to get this centered a little bit better. And I'm also going to use a piece of scratch paper over the top as I run it through my die cutting machine. And that will help any of that black ink transferring to my plate. I just know this from experience that it's going to do that. Yeah, look at that. Hello. Oh my word. It got a little bit of my pencil on it. Oh, that's funny. A little bit of my sketch from a different card. That's hilarious. I think the cap will mostly cover that up though. Yeah, it will. Okay. And then I can just use paper towel just to clean off my die. So I'll just spray paper towel, and then I can clean the die. See, I really needed to clean the die. Would black watercolor work as well rather than ink? Yes. In fact, it probably, if I had used like a waterproof black ink, I think it probably would have done a little bit better. Or the thing is though, you want to be able to get it off of that embossing powder. So I don't know. Pigment ink works pretty well, I've seen. Okay. That's better. Actually, no, I still have a little bit of color on that. That is so annoying. I will set this aside and figure that out later, because we have a card to do. However, I will go like this and put that distress ink over that area to get rid of that. Cleaned it up. Lovely. Okay. Getting a card base. And I'll just put some dimensional adhesive on that. I feel like I still need to put paper down just in case that ink's not dry. It totally isn't dry. That's one of the reasons why I hesitate to use distress ink on things unless I know it can just sit for a while, you know? Because distress ink takes a little bit longer to dry than regular ink, I found. Could you put glaze over that to keep it from smearing? You were so right. I probably could. just going to put that in the center of my card. All right, and then I've got to decide if I'm going to put the cat on foam as well or just glue it down. I'm kind of thinking maybe on foam as well. And I need to do the black marker around the edges of the cat. Okay, where's my black brush tip marker? This is like not working anymore. Do I have a black brush tip marker in here somewhere? I'm bound to have one. Where is it? Brush. There we go. That works. Oh, much better. So much easier. Okay. I'm also going to add just a little black up in that corner just to disguise that little spot I didn't paint. Okay. Yes, I think I will put our little kitty on some foam adhesive. By the way, I wanted to let you guys know I've got some events that I'm teaching at. I need to add links to the video description, but I'm teaching for Hero Arts in April. I'm teaching, who else has announced recently? Brutus Monroe in July. Who else? I think they've announced it. Pink Fresh in August. I've got quite a few. The Hero Arts one is only $45 and it is available for registration right now. Alrighty. Oh, our little kitty's so cute. I love her. And I feel like it also needs a black dash line, right? Just because that's what's going to finish it off. So I'm going to grab a black pen. Perfect. Unfortunately, this pen is not available anymore, so I apologize. But for what I'm doing now, any black pen will do. Yes, I'll be at Create for Simon. I'll be working the event for them. In fact, I just got my airfare today. I think the dash line just finishes it off. A very playful, youthful card today. I love the kitty's little blush, little pink cheeks. So cute. Okay. Ta-da! So there's the card for today. I think you could add in glossy accents over the eyeglasses. I'm sort of tempted to do that. Should we do that? We'll have to wait for the finished look after, you know, I'm done because it's got to dry, but it'll just fill right in. it's going to look a little funny here until it dries clear, but she looks like her glasses have fogged up. And I totally have a bubble, a couple of them. I'll get rid of those in a minute. Okay, so when you put your cap on your glossy accents, tap it to make sure all of that is at the bottom. And then you're gonna blow any air out. And then you're good to go. Okay, to get rid of that bubble, you just have to pop it. And you can also use your craft pick to kind of move the glossy accents to areas where you want it to be. Kind of like royal icing. Okay. I still see a bubble, which is going to bug the crap out of me. There we go. Okay, so you can see where that's going to be glossy at some point. It will dry clear, but right now it looks a little bit cloudy. But there's the finished card. Ta-da! So cute. I love our little kitty. Such a great birthday card. All right, so I'm going to do a quick closing for those watching the edited replay once I get it up tomorrow. And then I'll stick around for just a few minutes in case you have any questions. So here we go. So here's the finished card for today with the color inspiration from Color Cube number 187. Such a cute combo. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. And oh, that's crooked. Ooh, it's not even sticking down. We'll fix that later after the glossy accents have a chance to dry. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I will be back on Wednesday with more Color Month 2024. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Okay, if you have any questions, now's the time for them. Let's see here. That's a really good question. Will your heat tool take the bubbles out like with epoxy? I have not tried that. I have no clue. That's a good question. Let's see here. Let's see. Ooh, yes. VersaFine pen and clear embossing powder is a quick way to add shine to something too. Yes, absolutely. I just convinced you that you need the cat. You do. It is such a cute little cat stamp. Well, it's big actually. Okay. Oh, thank you so much, Bonnie. Thank you. You know what? I feel like you can't really see the what's the word? The comments. Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can make the... There we go. Now you can read it. Okay, perfect. Yes, thanks, Bonnie. Thanks for joining. Glad you're here. Let's see here. So many people going to create. Awesome. Yes, Terrence says, I'm not a dash guy, but it is what it needed for sure. Yeah, it just needed a little something. I think it could have been a little scalloped edge. It could have been just like something to add a little detail. Oh, yes, Kathleen. Yes. Kathleen says, I was watching one of your really old videos the other day, and you did the faux stitching dash line around your card. This is so sweet. Yeah, I did a lot of dash lines. I still do every once in a while. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm going to go back to the bottom, see if I caught anything. Gina's asking to see the dog in the stamp set. Hold on 1 minute. Let me grab it. I set it aside somewhere. Where did I put it? There it is. There's a dog, a cat, and a bunny. Here you go. So there's the cat, and there's a little dog, and there's the bunny. And then it's got 3 different sets of glasses, a little party hat, and a bow. And I was going to do a party hat, but then I realized that I wanted it to be a little closer to the words, and the party hat would obstruct the words too much. So that's why I chose to only do the bow. But I think that the heart glasses would have been really cute too. But it says there's "Hey girl, happy birthday," and "Oh, hello there." Ta-da! Any black pen? Let's see. Shirley's asking, what pen is as good, do you think, rather than the one you used? I've been recommending the one that's the most like it is the, I think it's the Pentel Multi-Ball. Let me see if I have it in my drawer here. I recently cleaned up some pens and I moved everything around. Hold on. I think it's over here. Yes, right here. It is a Pilot, not Pentel. It's the Pilot Multi-Ball. That's what I think is the most similar to the pen I used earlier. And this one is still being sold places. So yeah, I need to go through all those pens and figure out what I'm doing. Beth says, what is Create? It is a 3-day event put on by Simon Says Stamp in Columbus, Ohio, where you can pay, oh gosh, it's expensive. I think it's like $400 or $500 to be in the classes, but you get a ton of product in the classes, and you have 1 class each day. And then there's also, Friday and Saturday. And then there's also an area that is open to the public. You do have to have a ticket to go into the area, but it's a bigger area. And there's tons of product and displays. It's the store, basically, in physical store instead of just the online shop. And they have tables set up from a bunch of different manufacturers, and they are there with make and takes or create it, take it projects, so you can get it like a taste of that company's product. So, and Simon has quite a few tables as well. So that is running like all day long, like the store and all of those cards and projects or whatever. And then at the same time, elsewhere in the building, they have the classes going. So that's kind of how it's going this year. They've got the 2 full days, and then on Thursday at night, I think they're having just the Create It, Take It tables at the store that's open. So yeah, so people, and that's only open to the people who take the classes. So anyway, there's more detail over at simonsaysstamp.com. It's sold out right now, sadly. So there's not really, for people who are just hearing about it now, there's not really any way for them to kind of take part in it other than maybe just follow things on social media when it's posted. But it's Mother's Day weekend, which I think is an interesting date for this. But Mother's Day weekend, Sika's going to be there. I'm excited. So yeah. Okay. Ooh, Sharon says she signed up for Pink Fresh in August. Awesome. Oh, hey, Dana. Hey, Dana. Dana has really cute pale pink nails. I saw her post about it online earlier. Let's see here. Let's see. See if I caught anything else. Andrea's waiting for me to accidentally drop something on the glossy accents. Never. No, it's gonna dry. It's gonna be gorgeous. Casey, organizing without you? No. I am not organizing without you. No worries. That's Angel Casey. She's my organizing angel. I guess I could have put the hat on there at an angle. That's true. Kind of like how I did the bow. It's true. Right? can't, you love that pen, can't believe, I know, right? It's like, I wonder how long it had been out when I kind of discovered it and started using it a ton, because I feel like it was only out for like a couple years after I knew about it. So it just makes me wonder. Can we make our own crafty business cards with our YouTube and Instagram names so we could recognize each other? Great. Guys, if you wanted to, really make a little name badge. I don't think you need a business card, but a little name badge so people know. Yes, Gina, that is true. Create is a great way to pick up faves from lots of small businesses without having to pay shipping for each company. It's true. Yeah, and also, because I mean, Simon carries a bunch of product from a bunch of different companies. So basically, you're just not going to be having to pay shipping on your Simon order. But it's essentially the same product that is available in the Simon store. Amy's asking, are your color cards so far from box 1 or 2? So far, I've only used color cards from box 1. Yes, Linda, all the craft tables are sold out, sadly. Okay. Candace is asking, what pen is discontinued? Do we need mention it? Because it's discontinued. We can't find it. It was the Pilot envelope addressing pen. It's this one right here. The Pilot envelope addressing pen. It had its brief moment in our lives. I have quite a few left. Well, not quite a few, maybe like 3 that I'm still using, that I'm using up, because a lovely, kind viewer had bought a bunch to put in her stash, and she sacrificed them and sent them to me. So bless her. She was so kind to share. Do they sell the products at the event? It's basically like Simon just brings their warehouse over to the convention center. I mean, not everything, but like a large assortment. And so you're not going to have everything there, but you're going to have a lot. And in years past, it used to be that you could place an order online and you could specify if you wanted to pick it up at the event. And then if you already have a ticket to the event, you could go in and you could get your order. I don't know if they're doing that this year, or maybe they're only offering to those who are in classes. I don't know. But yes. Gems on the glass. Yeah, on the glasses. That'd be so cute. Yay, Mary. Mary's ordering her color cube. Love it. Dana, the polish is Periwinkle Passion. Shirley's asking if there is a UK-based company who sells the Simon Says stamp sets. No, Simon ships internationally, so that's the only way you can get them. There is not a distributor in the UK. Simon, the only place you can buy legitimate Simon Says stamp product, like their brand, is at simonsaysstamp.com. Let's see here. Oh, I thought you were asking me, have I tried the Jelly Roll number 10? I'm like, Andrea, that's the only one I use. It's too funny. Kathleen says, Simon needs to do something like this international in Australia so we can participate. The experience with all the beautiful people doing classes. You know what? I don't know if they'll do that, because I know one of the reasons why they can do it here is because it's so close to their warehouse. There used to be quite a few different kind of companies that would do sort of like weekend events in Australia. I know Jennifer, years and years ago, Jennifer McGuire went to them in New Zealand and also Australia. So I know they existed at one point. I think it may have been from Paper Crafts and, gosh, what was that? Oh, Creating Keepsakes. Yeah, those magazines. I think it was associated with them, but I don't know of any currently. That's a good question. How many polishes do I have? I don't think we want to go there. How do I store them? I have some like little nail polish racks that I got on Amazon. Let's see here. Yeah, it can be expensive for shipping internationally. So if you have a friend that lives in the States, I would recommend like maybe if you want to like place a few orders, you know, and then every, few months or so have them package everything up in a box and then ship it to you from there. or do the same thing at Simon, just like keep adding to your cart so you can really make the shipping cost worth it. Yeah, it's hard. I get it, because there are things from other countries that I want, and I have to like pay crazy shipping to get them for sure. Let's see here. Have I seen the Jelly Roll glaze pens? I think I've used them. In fact, I got one thinking that it would be opaque, and it wasn't, and I was very surprised. But yeah, they're cool. Do I have a link for the cube? Yes, it's down below in the video description. It says like all of the Sarah Renae Clark color catalog products. You can click on that. I think it's the very first link that's in the video description. Oh no, Linda says, I cleaned out my garage over the last 3 days. Today I was sweeping and I found a little die just laying on the floor. Man down, man down. Oh, that's so sad. You just don't even know what it goes to. You should put it like on a larger magnet piece and set it aside. And then someday you'll be looking through your supplies and you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's the set that's missing that die. And you'll probably find it. All right, well, you guys, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going for about 90 minutes. That's usually about how long these live streams go. The glossy accents is starting to dry down. You can kind of see it's not quite as puffy. It's getting a little more matte. Oh, I just put my finger in it. Christina, seriously. Oh, no, it's smoothing out. We're okay. We're good. We're good. Okay. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you all on Wednesday for a new video. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys next time.